Jason Peters here for Status Coup. We are here in Chinatown, Philadelphia. I'm sitting down with Debbie Wei to talk about the proposed new 76ers arena, 76th place, that is supposed to be on 10th to 11th Street here in Philadelphia on Market Street, neighboring Chinatown. How did you first hear about the proposed plans to put the new Sixers arena right next to Chinatown?
The same way everyone else did, in the newspaper. Usually in the past, now Chinatown's no stranger to large development proposals and large development things that impact the community. And it until this one, it has always been, let's go meet with the community, let's tell them we're thinking of doing this, let's hear what their concerns might be, let's throw out 2 or 3 possible sightings. And this one was like, we are building this and we're building it here.
Yeah, I don't remember them, because a lot of people are against the arena for a lot of reasons. Like Philly sports purists just wanted to stay in South Philly because that's a part of the culture. Yeah, that's the culture.
Yeah,
so people,
Philly culture.
And I was thinking about this, and I don't even think that this being anti-arena or pro-arena doesn't even necessarily fall along political lines. Like you could just have, you could be a conservative that just loves the stadiums. And so you want the stadium to stay there, or you could go be a liberal who likes economic development and thinks the stadium is good for that reason. So what ultimately is your reason, or the coalition you're a part of's reason, for not wanting the stadium?
Wow, so many reasons.
Yeah.
So many reasons. I know people say it's next to Chinatown, and we say it's in Chinatown, because imagine, Philly's all row homes. So imagine you live in a row home, and the person next door to you, the very next row home, decides to build an arena there. Are they in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
that's the distance. The back wall of the arena abuts our first business, which is a little 2-story mom and pop shop.
I mean, I'm a local pediatrician. I've been here for practicing 25, almost 30 years, and I'm not practicing in Center City. I'm not. I practice in Germantown, which is across north side of Philly. I love the Sixers. I love the Sixers arena. I love the Sixers arena in South Philly. That's where it's next to the Lincoln Financial Field. It's next to the Citizens Bank Park. And the Sixers arena is already in a great spot to drive in and out of. So we like to drive from, I live in Delaware County in Delco, so I like to drive from Delco, take 76 or 95. I can get to the South Philly Sixers sports complex any number of ways. And I can get out of the Sixers sports complex any number of ways. We can go into Center City, we can go out to West Philly, we can go out by the airport, we can go out to Jersey. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different ways we can all disperse after a game. But, and the other thing that's nice about the sports complex is there's no hospital. We didn't put our hospitals next to the sports complex because we would hate to have a hospital next to a sports complex.
Why do you say that? Oh, here you go.
We need ambulances to get to our hospital. And what we want is unencumbered ambulance flow to any of our hospitals. So Penn Presbyterian is in West Philly. It's in a kind of a quiet part of West Philly, but in near University City, the university campus. That's the other level 1 trauma center. The other level 1 trauma center is on Broad Street. It's in the middle, right next to Temple. It's in the middle, next to the university. But there's the Leocoris Center is 20 blocks away. It's nowhere near Temple Hospital.
Yeah.
If we put the sports complex in Chinatown, now, we can talk about in a minute why I, as just a black citizen of the Delaware Valley, am not appreciating, the first black woman mayor in Philly, who I love, Sherelle Parker, and that the administration backing the idea of bringing a huge arena into Chinatown. You know, so I don't have a dog in that fight as a black citizen in this area, but I sure know if a giant arena was going to get put in one of the black neighborhoods, we would lose it. Yeah. We would stop it. If it was going to be put in South Philly in the middle of the Italian neighborhoods, yeah. If it was put off of Broad Street in the Latino neighborhood, there would be such a ruckus in Philadelphia that would not happen.
Investment is what they're calling it. I'm sorry, I've read so much of
it. It is an investment for private equity billionaires.
Yes, they would be spending money to buy up a massive swath of real estate and essentially control a 2-block radius of Center City, Philadelphia. They want to build a stadium and then fill it with retail space in a common trend that's happening throughout professional sports. You can look to the Atlanta Braves. They did a similar strategy when they left Atlanta for the suburbs. I just wanted to explain a little bit. Could you get into the depths of why you do not want it in Chinatown, why it is not wanted?
Okay, so the first why, my evolution of reasons has evolved as I learned more about the project. But first of all, Chinatown, so when it's 150 years old, and I do believe we are the oldest sustained ethnic enclave in the city. Mm. Right? There are other neighborhoods, but they've been turned over. You know, you can call it the Italian market, but it's not Italian anymore. Mm. The 150-year-old community, which is very old, and we settled originally in a place in Philadelphia that no one else wanted to live in because, you know, it's not like in 1871 Chinese came here and all the folks that were here are like, yay, Chinese people, welcome. No, it wasn't like that. You know, Chinese had to go to the part of the city where no one else would live. Mm. And that was where they were allowed to settle. Even up until when I was a child, this was Skid Row, this was a red light district, the Trocadero that's shut down now. That used to be a burlesque theater.
I loved the Trocadero growing up.
Yeah. But you growing up
as a concert venue
saw it as a concert venue. Me growing up, it was a burlesque theater. Doc Johnson's Love Store was up there on Arch Street. It was what urban renewal gurus started to call blight, starting in the 50s and 60s, urban blight, which is a code word for low-income communities of color.
The issue as a physician is access to the ER. So I'm here in Franklin Square, which is kind of, you know, 6th and Market, a little across over there. I'm looking at Jefferson's Tower, which is just a block behind me, to around 10th Street to 12th Street, and down this way behind me would be where the Chinatown Arch is. That's where the arena would be. Between this side of town, all of North Philly, where the Latino community is, where all my patients in North Philly that wouldn't be going to Temple would be, all of the patients in South Philly, all of the patients in Center City, especially in this area, would be obstructed by this giant outlet of a arena with 18,000 people letting out. How many games are there?
82 basketball games plus 40, whatever concerts they book.
40 of them, 50 of them, 60 of them a year. 60 events a year minimum. So 60 nights out of 360. So like 1 out of 5 nights a year. And how many times a week? 2 or 3 times a week. You're saying I can't get any patients in North Philly, Center City, Washington Square, any of this area into the hospital.
To the national audience at home, Philadelphia has 2 roads that essentially are the major vessels for Philadelphia that are not highways. It's Broad Street going north-south, and then Market Street going east-west. It's where our subways run, our 2 subways. Yep. it's where our 2 subways run, and all
the buses, all the... Yeah.
And the intersection of Broad and Market is very close to where is City Hall, which is just a few blocks over from where the proposed stadium it is.
The problem is Jefferson ER is our other level 1 trauma center. There's 3 of them in the area. There's Temple in North Philly. There's West Philly. The rest of the city, you're going to come to Jefferson. Anybody that's not flying in by helicopter. So everybody but 2 patients have to get on the road to Jefferson. And the problem is when every 60 days a year, when that arena lets out, you've turned this whole area into a parking lot, a quagmire. From a medical point of view, I was just talking, Jimmy Lowe, one of the ER techs at Jefferson, we were talking, and he's talking about the 5 minutes, if you have a stroke, to get you to the ER bay, and get if you have CPR, before you can turn over to the next person's CPR. So that 15 minutes of CPR going to 25 minutes, no, an hour. It's going to take an hour to get across that intersection. That's insane. We can't have people trying to do CPR in the ambulance for an hour because the Sixers were playing, or Taylor Swift is having a concert, or Kevin Hart is having a concert. We have a sports arena. We have a sports arena that can accommodate 20,000 fans. The last place we need it is in Center City, in the middle of, right next to our trauma center. In our Pennsylvania hospital is only 3 more blocks. So that's all the obstetric delivery. I'm a pediatrician. So you're saying if I have any pregnant moms in North Philly, I can't get across 676, which is that Vine Street Expressway, the Market Street. I can't get across to Pennsylvania Hospital. I can't get across to Jefferson, my trauma center, or my main obstetrics hospital. So all the pregnant moms have got to wait for the game to let out. So 5 hours a night, 5 hours a night, 60 nights a year. I have to know. I know my patients can't get through.
The proposal says that for $1.5 billion, you can control 2 city blocks of Center City in Philadelphia.
Oh, and get this, Josh Harris, you read the legislation. There's actually a line in it that says Josh Harris will pay $10 in rent to the city for 30 years. For not $10 every year for 30 years.
Oh, just $10 once?
$10 for
not even $300.
Not even $300. It's in the legislation, but nobody, people don't take the time to read this stuff. Philadelphia's being taken for a ride, and it's at the expense of Philadelphia. Most importantly, they're doing this weird. We're still trying to understand it because we're not I'm a K-12 public educator, right? I'm not a tax attorney. I don't do real estate. I'm quickly having to school myself on a lot of very complicated stuff. But somehow the city used to own all this land, and they transferred it to a real estate holding company that the Sixers control. And what the Sixers are saying is, well, once we get our deal, we're going to donate this money back to the city, as though that's a really generous thing on their part. But what does that mean? If they don't own it, they don't have to pay the real estate taxes. Right? So they're being really generous, and then they're saying, well, we'll do pilots, payment in lieu of taxes, which add up to, I saw a graph. All I know is this is what they're paying, and this is what they would pay if they didn't have pilots. So, and they keep things like, we'll pay this much, and that's in this dollars, right? 2024 dollars.
Yeah.
That's not 30 years out dollars. So 30 years out, this is going to look like a pitiful amount of money. They are not in this because they love sports. They're in this because it's a business venture for which they will suck more profits to increase, because $5 billion isn't enough for one man, right? That's obscene. I'm sorry, that's obscene.
And to give background to the audience, currently the Philadelphia 76ers play at the Wells Fargo Center in South Philly, right next to where the Eagles play and the Philadelphia Phillies. The problem for the Sixers is that they do not own the Wells Fargo Center. That is owned by Comcast, who also owns the Flyers and the building. So the Sixers, technically on the pecking order for the building, are third below the Flyers, concerts, and then it's the Sixers. So the developers and pro arena people use the argument that the Sixers will get things like a Christmas game, because instead of Disney on Ice being at the arena, the Sixers will get the arena. And they're also dangling the carrot of a WNBA team, which a lot of people are interested in having in Philly, but that's another thing that they're offering to bring with the new stadium. And the real reason that the Sixers would want this stadium is so that they can profit off of those other things that the Wells Fargo Center profits off of. Instead of being kicked out of the arena for concerts, they get to put on concerts in their arena that they own and rent out to bars and nightclubs in this complex and then take dollars from that. It is essentially a way for them to make more money.
And what I would say is, I don't even know if they're going to make money off this arena. And I think that they know that too, because the real deal is they're going to take over real estate in this entire area. Mm-hmm. That's where the real money is. The real money is in taking over control of the real estate in this section of the city. Like East Market Street, ripe for the picking. They just want to, so you put an arena here, you kill everything around it. Mm-hmm. And then you can go in there and get it pennies on the dollar. The impact study, the economic impact study, which did not talk at all about the economy of 380 small family businesses and the loss to the economy of that, did not talk at all. In fact, in page 2 of the economic study, I encourage people to go, that's online, it actually has this disclaimer that says, summing it up, it says, this study, we didn't really test the assumptions we were given in this study. Like, we're just basing it on whatever was given to us, so we cannot be held accountable.
But the idea that you're going to impose this right on a neighborhood that says, please don't, we beg you, don't do this to us.
And that is loudly saying that they
please
don't want
we beg you, don't. The reason I'm here is because they said, Dr. King, we know you and some of the docs don't want this. So would you please come talk to somebody and tell them that? So what I'm saying is, the doctors I talk to are like, this is not a good idea. Now, we're not saying we don't have a dog in this fight. I mean, doctors are kind of not, we like basketball, we like sports. We're not real athletes.
Yeah.
So, we go to a few games. We're not, the maniacal sports fans. We love our Sixers wherever they play. We want them to play in Philly. But guess what? They play in South Philly. We're happy with that. We don't want any of our arenas next to any of our hospitals. The Black community, I'm part of the Black community. We're in West Philly. We're in North Philly. We're in Southwest. It's the white community. South Philly. They're in Northeast. They're in Center City. There's all kind of communities of white communities. Even the Latino community spread all over North Philly. Dozens, maybe 50 blocks. Chinatown has 10 blocks. So when you impinge on their 10 blocks, it used to be 20 blocks.
Yeah.
We've already cut the pieces. At some point, there's no more Chinatown.
Yeah.
And this kind of blow, as a community pediatrician, I don't want any community to be torn up if they don't want to be torn up. One by one is bad enough, but when you drop a giant meteor in the middle of their neighborhood, you're not helping them. So I don't want my community associated with that. That's the thing we're saying.